Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our brand new workshop for Copilot, a focused deep dive on how to use Copilot and build and customize your itineraries and smart proposals in the TravelJoy platform. My name is Heather, and I will be your host today. I'm joined in the audience by fellow Joy makers Lenore, Caitlin, Marissa, and Cody, who will be helping monitor the chat and answer questions throughout the webinar. Speaking of questions, we welcome your questions and plan to answer some of them live at the end of this webinar. So make sure you put your questions in the questions tab that is found in the bottom right corner of your screen. You will also see the team help answer some of those questions for you during the webinar. And a big thank you in advance to the Joy makers for that assistance. Now, this webinar will move quickly, so please note that you will receive a replay of the recording to really take in what we will be going over today after the conclusion. You'll be able to pause, rewind, and rewatch the recording to really take in the content of that recording. Now, before we get started, I do want to make sure I highlight that you'll be able to access the questions tab and the chat tab in the recording. So any resources that are shared during the session are going to be available for you to access after the webinar, and you may hear me repeat a few times throughout the webinar and towards the end of the webinar that you'll get that recording and a copy of the resources shared after the session. All right, we want to make sure that when you leave this webinar, you are feeling confident and empowered to use Copilot to create and edit your own itineraries in TravelJoy. So along with the recording, like I mentioned, I'm going to ask you to bookmark a link that I'm going to share in the chat now. This is going to be your first resource. There you go. This is going to our Copilot guide. So this guide, along with the others shared throughout the webinar, goes to our TravelJoy Help Center. The TravelJoy Help Center is a great place to reference if you feel like you may need to revisit any area for more details. But if you can't find the answer to any of your questions, you can always reach out to our team at hello@traveljoy.com or use the blue chat button in the bottom right corner of your TravelJoy account. Now, let's get into the good stuff. Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting and powerful tools inside of TravelJoy, Copilot. Instead of spending hours copying, pasting, and rearranging and formatting, you can simply tell Copilot what you've planned, and it will turn your notes into a polished, client-ready itinerary or smart proposal in seconds. You can ask it to create an entire proposal from your call notes, add in hotel or cruise details, pull in tours from a website link, or even add in destination guides and packing lists for your clients to give it that extra personalized touch. It doesn't just build, it refines. Copilot can review your itinerary for clarity. It can adjust tone and formatting, and it can help you clean things up before anything goes out to your client. Whether you're drafting from scratch, enhancing what you've already built, or doing a final fact check before sending, Copilot gives you speed, structure, and a second set of eyes all inside of your itinerary builder. So with that, I'm going to switch my screens so you can follow along inside of my demo account. So bear with me just a second while we do a little bit of back-end switching. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Thursday and a wonderful start to their week so far. All right, we should have my demo account up in front of you. Let's zoom in just a bit for you. Here we go. Okay, if I can get some thumbs up reactions or thumbs up in the chat just to make sure you guys can see and hear okay. Perfect. I'm seeing some of that. Let's grab a quick drink of water before we dive in and get started. All right. I hope you're as excited as I am. All right, so for this example, I have a client, Nicole, who is going on a Caribbean cruise with her family of 3. Now, I have already booked their cruise, so I have a supplier document that has all of their trip details, and I just need to take the trip details and turn it into their smart proposal. To start building this, I'm going to use the blue Create button over here on the right-hand side and select Smart Proposal. Now, I could start from an itinerary because we already have their destination picked, but I have a few options that I'm going to send over to Nicole a little bit later, and we'll be building it together, so don't worry. But those are only available on a smart proposal, so we'll cover it later. Now, instead of having to manually copy and paste everything over from my supplier document, I can use the amazing Magic Importer tool right here to upload that information. So I'm going to click here and upload it from my computer. Now, this was being a little temperamental with me earlier, so let's see if this is going to import everything correctly for me. And we might need to zoom out. Okay, this didn't import everything I needed, but that's okay. I'm going to switch my tabs right here. This is what I needed it to do. So we're going to use from this tab right here. As you can see, TravelJoy pulled in all the important details that I needed. So the document matched my ship name, the dates, the destinations, and it matched my cruise results to pull in the loaded information that TravelJoy had on the back end for me. And what it did is the import, when I click Add to Proposal, it's going to generate a clean and branded proposal with all of the pictures that I selected. And if you noticed, you can pick and choose the photos that you want to import into your proposal. So that's a little bit of customization you can do as the agent before you add it to your proposal. It saves you tons of time and effort using this magic importer. And once it's done, you can review it for all of your accuracy. And then we can move on to using the magic of Copilot to continue building and polishing this before we get it to our clients. So now I'm going to use Copilot to add a title and a short description that fits the theme of this proposal based on the content we've already added. Instead of me trying to wordsmith the perfect headline, Copilot can quickly generate something that feels more cohesive and aligned with the destination and the overall vibe of this trip. So what I'm going to type out is add a title and intro that is fitting for this cruise vacation. Also, add a cover photo that includes, let's see, the ocean and has a cruise ship visible. I'm also asking it to add a cover photo that matches the theme. That way the proposal feels complete and it's visually polished without me having to go searching for the perfect image. So it's just a couple simple prompts, and we've already elevated this entire presentation for the client in just a few simple steps that really brings it together as soon as the client's going to open it. And when we have the client experience a bit later, we'll see it all come together. And we can already see a little bit of a preview with that beautiful sunset. All right, so even though the cruise is going to set sail on Sunday, Nicole told me that she's decided she's going to come in one day early. She's arriving on Saturday, March 18th, and she's going to stay overnight in Fort Lauderdale before her cruise. Instead of manually creating a new section and rearranging everything in this smart proposal, I can ask Copilot to add a new day above the existing itinerary for Saturday, March 18th. So here's what I'll ask it to do. Add a new section for Saturday, March 18th, directly above, let's see, March 19th, there we go. Directly above Sunday, March 19th, there we go. All right, and since she'll be in Fort Lauderdale on Saturday night, I'm going to recommend my go-to rooftop bar that I suggest to clients all the time. And because I recommend it all the time, I already have this specific bar saved as a library item. So instead of rebuilding it from scratch in this smart proposal for Nicole, I can use Copilot to pull it in with a simple shortcut. I can either click on a library button in the bottom right corner to search my saved content, or I can simply type a prompt telling Copilot to add my library item directly by name in the New Saturday section. Now, I'm going to zoom in my screen. I wanted to warn you because it's a little bit fast. Whoop, there we go. Okay, so your options are to either use this button right down here to search your items like this, or we can use the @ symbol. But I'm first going to go and finish typing in my sentence. Under the new section for Saturday, March 18th, add, and I like this little shortcut, Nube roof bar. Because we're so zoomed in, it's a little harder. There we go. And then I'll hit enter, and we'll zoom back out so we can see it happen. So it's going to pull up right here. And there it goes. Oh, it looks like it might have added a duplicate, but that's okay. Copilot isn't always 100%, but it did add our new section, and it did add my item in here. It pulled in the photos. It's an awesome bar. So no worries. Just because it has a duplicate in here, we can simply delete this extra one. There we go. We've got our new section on here, and it didn't disrupt the rest of the itinerary. So I'm super excited that I get to suggest this to Nicole to visit one of my personal favorite rooftop bars in the Fort Lauderdale area. And pulling in these library items is one of my personal favorite game changers when using Copilot. Now, let's say while I'm building this smart proposal, I hop on a quick call with Nicole, and she asks if I can include a few excursions while her and her family are in the Bahamas in one of the port stops. And we'll scroll all the way down here. Bahamas is the stops on Friday. So while we were on the phone, I jotted down a few notes during the call, and I can let Copilot take my notes from the call and turn them into a clean, organized set of excursion options for her. Now, remember earlier in the webinar when I said that we were using a smart proposal instead of an itinerary so that we can offer options to Nicole? This is where we're going to see why. I'm going to first ask Copilot to add an options section under March 24th that they'll be able to select from, and then I'm going to copy and paste my quick call notes into the same Copilot message. So here's where we'll type. Add an options section under March 24th, and then include, and here's where I'll go where I have my call notes. After talking with Nicole, I'm going to copy and paste. All she said is that she wanted 3 different options for some family-friendly activities while they were in the port. And I'll hit send. Once I send that prompt, Copilot will place the options directly under the Bahamas date and transform my rough notes into clear, client-friendly choices. And Nicole will be able to review the options and select the one that she would like to book for her family while at the port. And it's going to keep the proposal organized for me. It's giving her the flexibility, and again, saves me time while I'm continuing to build her proposal. It's pretty dang cool. Now, before we wrap this up, we're going to scroll back up to the top because I'm almost done here. But let's use Copilot one more time for a little extra personalization for Nicole's family. I'm going to ask it to generate a general suggested packing list and place it at the top of the smart proposal. That way, Nicole has a helpful overview right from the start of what she and her family should consider bringing for this trip. So back into the Copilot bubble, we'll type add a general item suggested packing list for the family at the top of this smart proposal. With one simple prompt, Copilot can create a clean, easy to read packing list tailored to a cruise with a specific Bahamas stop, since that's what we focused on a little bit extra here, and position it exactly where I want it to be. It's a small touch, but it does add a lot of value and makes the proposal feel a little bit more complete for Nicole and her family when they first open this up. All right, so that's everything I wanted to add to this smart proposal for Nicole and her family. So let's go ahead and send this off. In the top right corner, I'm going to click Share Proposal and Send. It automatically has my proposal email template applied, and I'm okay with that. So we'll hit Send right here. Now that this is going off to Nicole, we're actually going to switch over to Nicole's email inbox and see what that looks like from the client perspective. Let's refresh this page for her. Open this beautiful email we've got and view the trip proposal. Ooh, we have this beautiful picture of a sunset and an ocean, and we've got a pretty small cruise ship over there, but that's okay. If we ever wanted to, we can always go back and change that photo with Copilot. Scrolling down, we have a Caribbean escape aboard the Explorer of the Seas, which is the name of the cruise ship that they're going on. And we've got a specific intro here, the suggested family packing list. We can expand that to see all of the details added in here, the kids and family extras. So it is very specific to the family, the things that they're doing. We love that. We've got photos added for the actual ship itself, the dining. We love to see it. Awesome. Here is that extra item that I added, that rooftop bar, and they can peruse through the photos to see. Love it. Such a fun place to visit. So let's go ahead and scroll down to those options that I sent to Nicole to choose from down in the Bahamas. So you can click over here to scroll all the way down, and she's got 3 options to pick from for her family. She can either do the Thrill Water Park, Chill Island Beach, or Oasis Lagoon. Ooh, Oasis Lagoon sounds pretty cool, but I think a Thrill Water Park sounds like a lot of fun, and the kids will probably enjoy that. So let's go ahead and select that option. And everything else looks fantastic. So we'll go ahead and click Approve a Proposal all the way up at the top here. And then Nicole is going to get that confirmation page right here. So now that we've approved that proposal, let's go back to the agent view and refresh that page and see what happens. So now that she has approved that proposal, we have a couple of notifications here. We've got a notification that Nicole has approved her proposal and selected option 1. So she is going to go to the Thrill Water Park and Wave Pool, which is pretty awesome. I don't blame her. And here's the best part. The moment she's approved that smart proposal, it automatically transforms into a live itinerary for us. There's no extra steps, no rebuilding. Any edits that we make to this itinerary going forward will continue to reflect this living document for Nicole as well. You can see that it is now pinned on the right-hand side of the trip for easy access for both us and Nicole can continue viewing it at any time as her official itinerary. All right, so that now brings us to the end of our Copilot walkthrough today. Thank you so much for sticking with me as we built, refined, and elevated a smart proposal using Copilot as our sidekick. Now, I know AI tools can feel a little intimidating at first, but once you see how naturally Copilot fits into your workflow, it becomes less about using AI and more about removing busy work. We just watched it do some pretty incredible things like transform your call notes, pull in your library items, and enhance a presentation in minutes. It's time to take back your day and have more confidence before you hit send on those smart proposals. Now, a quick note on your access with Copilot. Our Pro plan, which is what most users are on today, includes 50 Copilot requests per month. And this has shown so far to be enough for most travel advisors in TravelJoy to create 5 to 10 proposals each month. And we've added a usage tracker in the top right corner of the Copilot sidebar, so you can easily see where you stand as you use it. If you decide that you need more, you can always upgrade to premium or add additional monthly Copilot usage by going under your settings and your membership tab. Now, since launch, Copilot has continued to evolve based on your feedback, and we're excited to continue expanding its capabilities all the time. So our goal is simple: let Copilot handle the formatting and the repetitive tasks so that you can focus on what you do best, which is designing incredible trips and building relationships with your clients. Now, I'm going to take a quick sip of water and pull up the questions that have come in during this webinar so we can jump to the live Q&A session. And as a reminder, this entire session is recorded. You will receive a copy of the recording after the session has concluded. And all of the resources that have been shared in the chat and the questions tab will be included in that recording. So anything that's been shared with you, either in the chat or in a response to your questions or others' questions, you'll be able to access that after the webinar. So bear with me just a moment. And as a reminder, if you have questions that you would like to see answered in our time remaining, please make sure those questions go in the questions tab found in the bottom right corner of your screen. We have a chat and a question. So make sure you put your questions in the questions tab. So bear with me just a moment, please. Let's see. Oh, these are such great questions. Thank you so much to the team for answering these. Okay. Can Copilot be used in groups? Yes, absolutely. While you're building your group itineraries, let's see if I have an example here. Let's see if this will load the same. There we go. Okay, so here's an example. I have, you don't have to mind any of the details in here, but you do still have Copilot available for any group itineraries that you have. Now, you won't have group smart proposals available, but group itineraries, you can still absolutely use Copilot in group scenarios to, add any basically of the same situations. The only thing that you will see probably restricted here is going to be the options that we went over. Options are only available on smart proposals. As you saw throughout my presentation earlier, we specifically created a smart proposal for Nicole because I wanted to offer her options for her excursions. So because you can only use group itineraries, you won't be able to use that feature in Copilot when creating a group itinerary. Great question. Someone asked, can we undo an itinerary back to a smart proposal if a mistake was made? Oh, that wasn't for Copilot. Okay. Let me kind of actually answer a question about that. Let me go back into the itinerary that I was using really quickly. Oh, actually, it wasn't this one. Apologies, one moment. So what I thought she was asking was if there's a mistake that Copilot makes, can we undo the mistake that they did? Copilot does have the capability of doing that, and there is an undo feature. So the most recent thing that Copilot has done will have a little undo button on there. Now, it might not show it, because it went through the process of approval, but let's say we want to use Copilot to say, let's say, change the cover photo to a palm tree. So if we ask Copilot to do something and we don't like the results that it came up with, or we're just either not happy with it or we think it's incorrect, it will come up with I'm going to zoom in again here, so bear with me. It's going to give a little thumbs up, a thumbs down, so you can give feedback on how you think it did with those results. But you can also click this undo. So I'll zoom back out again. So it did change it to palm trees. If you click that undo, it's going to revert the last change that it made. Now that undo is only going to apply to that very last thing that it changed and updated. Let me scroll down through some of these other questions to see we go here. Someone asked for packing list. How is that incorporated into itinerary? Is that automatically generated? Packing list is something that we threw in as a fun example of something that you can add to your itinerary smart proposal for your clients. It's just something completely optional to you if you want to add it for the clients. Just suggest, hey, here's the destination you're going to. Here's what we can suggest as a packing list for the destination. If it's somewhere that they've never been to and they won't know maybe what the climate is like, if they're going abroad, maybe for the first time, you can suggest to them maybe to pack maybe like a outlet converter, something they might not think of. So just a fun suggestion to add. Let's see. Oh, the team is so fast answering questions. Caitlin is answering this question right now, but someone had asked, so the only reason to use a proposal is if you want to add options for them. Otherwise, is it better to use the itinerary builder? I will say yes and no. We basically like to think of smart proposal is the stage in which you are still actively planning the trip with your clients. And then the itinerary is the finalized stage of your trip with your clients. Now you can still make changes, of course, to the itinerary, but when you're doing a smart proposal, that is where you can still add options for your client to select from. So let's say you want to offer 3 different cruise options for your client to pick from. You can do that and they can review the smart proposal and select one of the options. Or if you have different resort options, different excursion options, those will only be available on the smart proposal. They won't be available on the itinerary option. But that's not to say that when you start from an itinerary that you can't make changes to it. It's just you won't have the ability to offer those options like you would on a smart proposal. Completely up to you, completely up to your workflow, but we absolutely suggest trying it out, seeing what works for you and what works for your clients. Okay, let's see. Okay. Well, it looks like majority of these questions have been answered pretty well by the team. So I think we're pretty good to wrap this up. All right. So thank you again for everybody who has joined today. And as I mentioned before, you will be getting a recording of the session that we had today. You'll be getting that probably a few minutes after we conclude, and that will include the chat and the questions tab and all of the resources that were shared during the session. Please feel free to register for any future sessions as well for the workshops. This is a brand new feature, so we hope that you'll be able to sign up for any future sessions. Please feel free to give us feedback as well. We're very open to it, and we're really excited about this feature as well. Thank you again for joining. We hope you have a great rest of your day and enjoy your early weekend. Take care, everybody.